We're live. Hello, everyone, and we're live once again with our newly updated YouTube AMA session series. Today, we have Rowan Stone, Director of Operation and Business Development at Horizen Labs, and Andrew Kovalenko, Head of Project Relations at WhiteBIT Exchange, willing to answer all of your questions, like literally all of them. So great to have you here, guys. Let's give them a warm welcome. That should be a round of applause out here.
Yeah.
So I want to remind everyone that we appreciate your input and all that you do as a community, helping us grow and tuning into these type of events. We also offer a little reward for the best questions, which are chosen by Andrew and Rowan. Our AMA will consist of two parts. So the first one, questions coming from our Google Forms, and the second one is live questions that coming up from our Telegram chat. So in case you miss your chance to drop your question in the Google form, you can just tune to our Telegram channel right now and drop it and have a chance to win your share of the reward. So to be eligible for any prizes for this AMA, please be sure to your WhiteBIT account set up so you can receive your rewards. Okay, so as I've already mentioned, the first block comes from our Google Forms. Let's start off. It's time for our first question of the day. Rowan, this is for you. What is your background and how did you end up joining Zen team?
Okay, so I have I guess, more of a traditional business background. I spent way too many years working in the energy industry, specifically in oil and gas. And long story short, I did not enjoy waking up in the morning and helping to destroy the planet. So I moved from one kind of semi-destructive thing into another. Always been an IT geek, loved playing with hardware, and started some mining at home originally. And that slowly scaled up into something that was too big to stay at home. I ended up being in the garage and in two of my spare rooms. And then from there, I had to set up some warehousing in Scotland. It got a little bit out of hand. But ultimately, that became my sole source of income. I jumped ship, went into cryptocurrency full time. And through that operation, I met Rob and Rolf and the rest of the Horizen team. And I guess the rest is pretty much history. I was kidnapped and never let go.
Right, man. Okay, thank you. Andrew, right. How did WhiteBIT end up working with the Horizen? What's next in store for your cooperation?
So in terms of, probably I have mentioned this in one of our other AMA sessions. As an exchange, we're always looking for launching more exciting strategic partnerships with some big players in terms of cryptocurrencies, right? And so during our search and analysis for the major cryptocurrencies that we can partner with, we reached out to Horizen. My initial contact was with Rowan, but then he got us in touch with Vano, who is the BD representative for Eastern Europe, if I'm not mistaken, yeah. And we got along actually, and here's like where we planned our partnership and the initial plans to get Zen listed. Zen is available on WhiteBIT right now with pairs against Tether and Russian ruble. And in terms of what's in store moving forward, so we wanted to record this AMA session in order to take a look at the community engagement and to engage more users from both WhiteBIT's and Horizen's community. And after that, I believe we are discussing launching a trading competition a bit later, as soon as our trading competition section on our website goes live. So probably you should look forward to that in maybe early November, something like that. But I wouldn't say there is any limits to what we can do together. The scope of partnership is always open. As soon as we see space to work together and to mutually cooperate and mutually evolve, we'll always jump right on it and discuss.
Yeah, we hop on events like this. So going through history first, guys. Thank you, Andrew. So Rowan, this third question is for you. In easy words, what is Horizen sidechain solution Zendo about? And also, how can developers contribute to Horizen project?
In easy words, okay.
Easy.
The super short version is that our Zendo protocol is a sidechain platform. So it's a scaling solution. And what it does is it enables developers to really quickly create Bitcoin-like blockchains as sidechains of the Horizen ecosystem. And we have the first kind of reference design, if you like, using an implementation or a modified version of Cardano's Ouroboros Praus, which is proof of stake.
Mm-hmm.
And how do you contribute? Well, right now we have something we're calling the Horizen Developer Environment. So this is HDE, is how we're kind of calling it. And I'll provide links to this to make sure everybody can jump in.
Sure.
But an easy way to come in and see what's happening in the ecosystem, a quick way to see which bounties we have open at any time. And if you're interested in kind of finding out the latest and greatest as and when we release it, then we also have something called the Horizen Early Adopter Program, which is a great acronym, HEAP. But that's available, and that's a fantastic way for developers to get the kind of edge on everybody else and seeing what Horizen are releasing.
Right. So guys, you heard the man. Don't hesitate. In
So
case you want to contribute.
Rowan, you're also offering bounties for developers, right? Is that what you said?
Absolutely, yeah. So through Horizen Developer Environment, there's a suite of bounties. And then through the Early Adopter Program, that's where people are getting first glimpse of the tech as and when it's released.
Okay, we'll make sure to add the links.
Yeah. I suppose we can probably drop that after the AMA is over.
Right, of course.
So next question, Andrew, is a good one, mate.
Yep.
What does WhiteBIT do to join the DeFi hype? You get question that a lot.
Yeah. Obviously, there's been a lot of talking about DeFi, and a lot of hype, indeed. So we're not late to the party, I would say. Yeah, we are. We have just last week listed 11 DeFi tokens that also include the Uniswap native token. Yeah, and more than that, they are also available against fiat pairs of Russian ruble and Ukrainian hryvnia, along with Tether, which is, I believe, the only, like WhiteBIT is the only place currently where you can get such pairs with this local fiat. So if you are from the CIS region, if you hold Ukrainian hryvnia or Russian ruble, there is a really easy way to get access to DeFi right on WhiteBIT. And apart from that, we are also discussing, so WhiteBIT's native platform token has been in development quite a long time, yeah, and we have wanted it to represent everything that the market is about right now, all the benefits and all the current hype, yeah. So we haven't yet come to the conclusion of what is this going to look like, but most likely we will integrate some kind of a DeFi solution into that. So you can also look forward to that. That's basically it.
Thanks, Andrew. That was a good one. Rowan, your turn. So DeFi is a concept that has been mentioned a lot recently. We're going through DeFi. What is Horizen's take on DeFi? Are you considering using any DeFi solutions?
So first off, it must be pretty difficult for you guys trying to provide access to some of the newer DeFi coins whilst also kind of keeping your customers safe. I don't envy that position at all. So I just wanted to say that first and foremost, because something like 40 or 50% of the DeFi coins launching are just rug pulling within the first couple of days. So Wild West for sure. But decentralized finance is nothing new. It's kind of why we're all here, right? Try and decentralize the existing systems and make them fairer, make them more accessible, things like that. One of the biggest problems I see at the moment is simply scalability. A lot of the DeFi sales that are happening and a lot of the launches they're grinding the Ethereum network to a halt. So
Right.
obviously Ethereum are working on a bunch of different scaling solutions, or have been for a very long time. And I don't want to sit here and bash Ethereum by any means. I'm a huge Ethereum fanboy and have been for a long time, but it's clear that it can't deal with the level of traffic that it's seeing. Like if we hark back to the time of CryptoKitties pretty much annihilated the Ethereum network at the time. And I think NFTs and DeFi are going to do something similar again. They're going to really get to a point where gas fees are insane. But cutting to the chase here, we are looking for any type of application, product, or service that makes sense to run on a blockchain, to run it on the Horizen ecosystem. And the whole reason that we're going down the sidechain route is to ensure that we have sufficient scalability to manage real world applications that people actually want to develop and use themselves. So one of the biggest problems in blockchain for me is finding product market fit. It's great talking about all these different use cases, but until somebody actually takes it into the real world and uses it for something, we're still kind of aiming for that illustrious killer app, if you like. For me, DeFi is probably one of the first real product market fits that we have as an industry. It's us as the cryptocurrency developers and companies building products and services effectively for ourselves. And it's clearly working because there's a huge number of people using them daily. Flipping back to just what we're doing directly, we're actually just about to announce a partnership with a CeFi company that is pretty big in the DeFi space and working on a bunch of different things there. So I'm excited to talk about that in a bit more detail coming up reasonably soon.
Cool.
Oh, okay, that sounds good.
Yeah, and Rowan did was right saying that DeFi, although being a hugely discussed phenomenon, let's say in the cryptocurrency world, it is still associated with great risks, yeah, as any cryptocurrency is actually. So we just need to reiterate that all users must do their own research and take responsibility and tread carefully into what they're investing and what they are looking to buy and sell and so on.
Yeah, you have to remember when you're jumping to a meme coin, it's a meme coin first. Yeah, so always remember that, guys. Yeah. We have to really reiterate this. So, thank you, Rowan. The next question is for Andrew. So, can you explain briefly the new KYC system that WhiteBIT has? Can I, for example, activate the code without the KYC?
So, for the code, the question is really simple. Yes, unless it is fiat. Yeah. So last week we have rolled out a newly updated version of our KYC system. Yeah. So while still remaining compliant with the current EU regulations, we are now allowing unlimited deposits and withdrawals of up to 2 BTC per day in crypto. Yeah. So a lot of research has been made in order to make sure that everything we do regarding KYC is still compliant with all the current regulations. And it is, yeah. So currently, we just are looking for our users to grant them easier access to cryptocurrency, yeah, which is the primary goal of mass adoption, yeah, allowing easy access. So if you are working with crypto, you can deposit any amount and activate a code for any amount without KYC. But you should also keep in mind that all the transactions, are still checked via an AML service, yeah. And if you have any personal concerns about the cryptocurrency that you hold, you can also use our service, which is called an AML checker on our exchange, yeah. So you can check your transaction, your balance, yeah, for what kind of funds you hold there. If we are talking about fiat, that's a completely different story, and understandably, working with any amount of fiat requires KYC along with the AML checking. Yeah. So for the code, WhiteBIT codes can be created and activated without KYC unless these are codes for fiat money. Yeah. If it is crypto, no problem.
All right. Thank you, Andrew. So. Thank you guys for the awesome answers that we had. So I just want to make a little break and remind everyone that we'll drop 300 words of $300 worth of Zen as a reward for the best questions. So for the newcomers, you can either ask your questions in advance via the Google form, or you can drop them live right now in our Telegram chat, and we'll ask them during the second part of the AMA. And back to the Q&As. So Rowan, as we know, every successful project has a few stories behind the scenes. What's the story behind Horizen?
What's the story I can talk about publicly, I guess, is the better question here. But no, in all seriousness, Horizen was launched by two guys, Rob and Rolf, who had a kind of grander vision to take an existing technology and really make it, in their heads, more useful. So they took zero-knowledge cryptography, which was being used at the time primarily by Zcash, Zed Classic, exclusively for transactional privacy, so financial privacy, and they wanted to expand that into a much wider realm, into data privacy. So they had the vision of creating a kind of application platform, and it's been a 3.5-year journey to get to the point now where the platform is in its beta phase, the sidechain platform, and towards the first half of next year will be the real production launch. So pretty exciting stuff. I'm not going to do the whole potted history because I'm sure most of the people on here have a vague idea of what's happened over the years. But that's kind of the Horizen story, if you like.
Right. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for the answer. So, Andrew, your turn, mate. The question is, I know there's quite a lot of fiat pairs in WhiteBIT. In fact, Zen is paired against Russian ruble. How can I deposit ruble to WhiteBIT? So you kind of answered this question, but let me get this once again.
Probably not really, yeah, because I talked about the KYC regulations involving fiat, yeah, but apart from that, yeah, so there are indeed quite a lot of fiat pairs on WhiteBIT, and apart from ruble, we are offering US dollar, euro, Ukrainian hryvnia, and Russian ruble, yeah. So there is a Turkish lira integration in works right now, so it's coming soon, yeah. But in terms of what you can do with ruble right now, so we are offering 4 ways of depositing ruble to our exchange. All of those are using different merchant solutions that we are partnered with. So right now you can use the services of such fiat service providers as Yandex, Intercasa, Kiwi, and Advocash in order to deposit and or withdraw ruble from our exchange. And there are, like, we're offering competitive fees. For example, for Ukrainian hryvnia, the fees for deposits and withdrawals are actually the lowest in the market, yeah, despite what we have heard Binance say recently in their advertisement about 1%, we are offering 0.7. So in order to like dive deeper into your fiat possibilities on WhiteBIT, you can take a look at our fees page. There you will find all the information about merchants that we are working with and the deposit and withdrawals fees that are there.
Right. Thank you, Andrew. Rowan, I have a bunch of questions for you out here, actually. So while many other cryptocurrencies are now relying on proof-of-stake constants because of fast and higher usability, as a proof-of-work coin, how will Horizen cope with the increasing number of users preferring proof-of-stake?
Microphone, Rowan. Yeah.
You cut out just a little bit there, but I think what you're talking about is proof of stake versus proof of work, right? And scalability issues.
Yep.
So obviously it's a battle, or not a battle, but a balance between kind of security and speed. The screen's so small, my hands don't even fit. And proof of work obviously offers higher security than proof of stake. But for real scalability, most of the projects that are pushing down that path are going proof of stake. And that's kind of part of the whole reason we're going down the sidechain route. So the Horizen main chain is proof of work and will always be proof of work. We're trying to basically simplify that main chain and turn it into kind of a truth engine or a kind of checker for all of the other side chains. And like I said before, different sidechain stake. So if you want to spin up a Bitcoin-like blockchain using proof of stake, you can do it as a sidechain of Horizen, and you can capitalize upon the Horizen node network, Horizen's main chain security, while also running a scalable chain in and of itself.
Yeah, so, here's Mike. He just
Have we lost him, have we?
Yeah, he just had to reconnect. In any case, I believe that during our discussion with Vano, we also had a look at the way of including Horizen into our smart staking page. So moving forward,
Very cool.
Yeah, you can also expect us to add this newest addition, to our smart staking plans. Back to Mike, if he's there yet. Okay, if not, I just wanted to say once more that after this AMA session, we will include a referral link in the description of the video, which will, if you sign up on WhiteBIT using this link, you will receive 0 trading fees for 14 days. Yeah, so it's just a small promotion for all the new users that are joining in from the Horizen side, right?
Maybe while we're waiting, we could answer a couple of questions from the chat. I'm seeing a bunch of people asking stuff here. You know what you think about that?
Sure. Let me just.
I'm back.
Perfect.
He's back. Good timing.
Yep. So where have we stopped? So you answered the question, right?
Right.
I was up. Okay. Let me hop on the next one. So, Rowan, what piece in your roadmap going forward do you consider the most important one at the current stage? Can you share your nearest plans?
I mean, it has to be moving sidechain from beta into mainnet. That's by far the most important delivery for us. And it's not the nearest term delivery. I mean, there's a huge amount of work that needs to be done to push sidechains through beta, battle test them, take all the feedback we get from developers, from the community, and implement them in production. But in terms of biggest deliverable, for sure, it's moving sidechains into production. And that will happen the kind of first half of next year.
Right. Okay. So when we have the last question coming from Google Forms, Rowan, it's for you. So which coins, especially private ones, are your closest competitor? How do you see Zen's advantages over them?
Yeah, I mean, we have a bit of a unique outlook. We don't really see other projects as competitors. We're all trying to build technology that's useful, and we're all trying to make a difference in the world with it. So, I mean, we could take a kind of pessimistic outlook and say, yeah, they're all competitors, but really they're just doing things differently. There's no privacy coin, if you like, that's doing anything like what we're doing. And with that in mind, I mean, it's worth thinking about kind of how we're even structured at this point and where we're going. I mean, the big focus for the Horizen ecosystem is to bring a scalable blockchain deployment tool to market that will enable people to build their own blockchains. And yes, that will include privacy technology. Absolutely, that's a core part of our value proposition, but it kind of moves us away from just being a simple privacy coin or a pure privacy coin, if you like. So in terms of competitors, I think it moves us further away from the likes of Zcash or Monero or anybody along those lines. And it brings us much closer to Ethereum, Cosmos, Polkadot, projects like that, projects that are aiming to provide development tools and enable application and product development on their chains.
Okay, seems like we lost Mike again. So actually, we have I have the list of the questions that have been chosen via Google form here with me. So
okay, cool.
Just finish with those and then hop to the live questions, right? So
sure.
Here's, I believe, the one for me. So how has WhiteBIT Team gone through the coronavirus situation? Are you working in office or from homes? Yeah, so a bit of a relevant question right now, yeah? So We here in Ukraine, where our part of the team is based, the situation hasn't been so, thank God, so drastic as it has been in some other countries, including the US. We had actually to work from home for about 2 months in April, May, if I'm not mistaken. But the time has been mixed so much that I still think that it's somewhere in the beginning of the summer right now, because of those 2 months that have been just deleted from the life, let's say. But it's been pretty okay. We were thinking that the work progress will slow down a little bit due to us working from homes, but it hasn't. And in fact, our team increased around 20 to 30% since then. So I can tell that we have gone through the coronavirus situation pretty unscathed. So what about you, Rowan? Did you have to work from home, or are you working from home in general? So
I've pretty much always worked from home. Horizen is a completely distributed organization, so we're kind of used to the whole work from home thing. Our main office is in Milan, in Italy, and obviously Italy was pretty hard hit. The guys went through a rough patch for sure. So we obviously closed our office very, very early, interest of safety, to keep all the guys safe. So our engineering team were working from home for a period. But like I say, as an organization, we're pretty used to working from home. We kind of know how that works. We know how to do it efficiently. So it didn't have a massive impact. For sure, it would have pushed back some of our deliverables. I mean, let's not kid ourselves here. It's always more productive to have an engineering team under one roof and kind of throwing ideas around and brainstorming in that way, rather than having them all in their homes. But yeah, I mean, you just have to kind of take it as it comes. It's an unusual situation that we've all found ourselves in. So just need to keep powering through.
Right. So okay, I hate to take over here, Mike.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for managing this unexpected breakup. So I just want to say that this last question completes our Google form Q&A section. So if your question was submitted, you will receive an email with your WhiteBIT code within the next 48 hours. So the final round of this AMA are live questions from our Telegram group. So just drop them and let's get going. So I have the first question for Horizen. So the question is, revenue and adoption play major roles for every project. And while Horizen is a crypto company, crypto companies face more hardships in terms of generating adoption and revenue. Can you tell me, how do you plan on getting Zen adoption increased, and how do you generate revenue from your technology or platform?
Well, that's a monster of a question, a really good one too. I mean, you're kind of preaching to the converted here. It is supremely volatile organizing and managing a cryptocurrency project. So unfortunately, it's the sort of thing that you create a budget for based on, maybe step back for a second, actually. So Horizen is funded. There was no ICO, there was no pre-mine. Horizen is funded by a small diversion of block rewards. So 20% of the block reward goes to a treasury. That treasury is currently managed by the Horizen team. Future plans will move that into a decentralized autonomous organization, but for now, managed by the team. And obviously the value of that budget is pegged one-to-one with the value of Zen. So if Zen doubles in price, then our operating budget doubles and we can achieve more in a shorter space of time. And then conversely, if Zen price reduces, then we need to scale back our efforts and ultimately extend the amount of time it takes to complete deliverables on the kind of extremes, if you like. How are we going to try and get adoption? Well, the key to adoption in my mind is to deliver something that people actually want to use, to deliver something that provides real utility. And that's the whole aim for the sidechain system. We want to be an enabler that enables developers all around the world to build products and services that are scalable, that work well designed, that people actually want to use. And not just doing that ourselves, not just doing that with developers, but also creating strategic partnerships with large enterprises and businesses that have their own user bases. The bigger, the better, essentially, and kind of pulling them into the fold to really supercharge adoption in that way. So it's a mixture of delivering technology that people want to use and creating partnerships that bring good numbers of people into the fold and put that technology in front of the people that can make best use of it.
Right, thank you. I love the concept with your operational budget being pegged to the treasury. So it's just, that's the growth.
Yeah, I mean, it's in our best interest to.
Yeah, the motivation is all in there. so transparent. So Andrew, got a question for you. So how has WhiteBIT team gone through the coronavirus situation?
Yeah,
that
was the one we answered. This was from the forum, right?
Ah, my bad.
Probably repeated one.
So okay, so let's just hop to the next one. Rowan, do Horizen and WhiteBIT have planned to make a staking program?
I think you answered that earlier. Yeah, we are. So I don't know how much detail you want here, but a great way of participating in the Horizen ecosystem is to jump in and run a node. Back in November 18, I think, testing my memory here, we launched the node network. And we did that because if we're going to build a scalable technology platform, we need to have a really robust infrastructure layer for all the apps, product, services to be built on top of. So we incentivized the running of nodes. That program was wildly successful. We ended up with a lot more nodes than we expected, which is fantastic. And still to this day, it's growing at a fair pace. I think right now we have something like 40,000 active secure and super nodes is what we call them, two different tiers, all around the world. And kind of the next phase of this rollout, if you like, is to get organizations like WhiteBIT involved in providing services to their users. We kind of purposefully made it difficult, which I know sounds a little bit weird, but we kind of did purposefully make it difficult to run a node. And we did that for a really important reason. And that's that we wanted to test a variety of our different kind of products and make sure that we understood that the network could look after itself. So we don't want to go into a beta period with thousands and thousands of people all around the world running the infrastructure that have no idea how to run the infrastructure, right? So we want to make sure that primarily our network is run by experienced sysadmins that know what they're doing. And if we run into a problem, we can rely on them to help us fix that problem and get through that period. But now that we have such a huge node network, now that we have 40-odd thousand, that kind of value prop is taken care of. So we can really now start working on ways to make it much more accessible and much easier for people to jump in and earn an income by running secure and super nodes. And part of that outreach is having companies like WhiteBIT provide that service to their users, so the user doesn't need to take care of all the faff. They can just press a couple of buttons and immediately be staking Zen.
Yep, makes me want to run a super node. So, Andrew, are you planning to create local Telegram groups for the communities? It's now only available in English and Russian.
Yeah, it is. So WhiteBIT being the exchange that like mostly focuses on Europe, Eastern Europe, and the countries in those regions. Yeah, we started with the general English group, then we expanded to a Russian-speaking group, and so the main idea here is that we need to like determine what the user base's demands are, because we can like launch 50 or 100 local groups in all languages imaginable, but what's the point there if like we will not if it will not be led in the proper way. So we are just taking a look at our user base, analyzing it in terms of geography, and as we see a particular language speaking community grow, we will introduce more and more groups in those local languages moving forward. Right now, so probably the most speaking languages of WhiteBIT's user base are English and Russian. There is a growing Chinese segment, so probably a Chinese group would be instrumental here. So it's a matter of time and of user base analysis. That's what I would say.
And just participation.
Yep,
from the community. Right. So we have basically like two last questions. So those are for Rowan.
Just sorry to interrupt just for a second. There's a couple of questions I'm seeing in the chat that maybe just worth jumping into.
Yeah,
One of
you
them
can
is
just
from,
answer whatever you want.
cool. One of them's from Konstantin. He's basically saying, I guess it's a reply to what I mentioned before about expanding contracting budgets. He's saying when Zen was greater than $10, roadmap was moved to the future. So I just wanted to clarify. I think it's worth clarifying that point. Strategy changed effectively. It wasn't a case of moving the roadmap completely to the future. We're in a fluid industry. We're super early. And it's important that organizations are able to pivot and move towards a value prop that they think makes best sense. So there was a couple of items on the roadmap that we'd originally pegged for kind of this year. And it made better sense to wait. One of the biggest ones is the DAO, the Treasury DAO. So we've been talking about moving decision-making authority to the community for the Treasury for quite some time. It doesn't make sense for us to do that until we have sidechains, because we're going to create the DAO on a sidechain. So it's not so much that we've just moved things back for no reason. We've kind of put things in a sensible chronological order that makes sense given the way the organization wants to drive forward and the way the community believes is the best for us to do. So I just wanted to answer that point. And there's a few other questions, but I'll leave it there. You guys can keep picking at your leisure.
Yeah, if you just want to answer a specific question, so just go ahead, because I don't know which ones are the ones that you want to answer.
Yeah, so Rowan was looking at the YouTube chat, right? I was more.
Yeah, I was in YouTube. Yeah, I was in YouTube chat. So I have a couple of good questions for you, actually, the ones that
Sure, let's do it.
I was about to ask. So yeah, first, in your opinion, will the anonymity of Zen and in general private coins hinder the process of mass adoption of cryptocurrencies? So let me just ask it step by step. You can go ahead and answer.
Will the anonymity of Zen hinder the adoption of cryptocurrency in general? Is that what the question is? Just to make sure I heard correctly.
Yeah, so the question is, will the anonymity of Zen and in general private coins hinder the process of mass crypto adoption?
I mean, I'd like to hope not. I think all of us as human beings have a fundamental right to privacy. I mean, for example, I can't see into either of your bank accounts. So why should I be able to see your cryptocurrency balance? I mean, it's exactly the same thing. It makes no sense. So the argument is always that privacy coins or privacy technology in general enable bad people to do bad things. And therefore, everybody should not have the access to this technology. And I think that argument doesn't really stack. The world is a very large place, and there are far more good people than there are bad. And I don't see why we should stifle technology and stifle growth and prevent good people from doing good things just because there's a couple of people that might use it for wrong. So will it hinder it? From a regulatory standing point, it certainly makes it more complicated, but I think it's a conversation that's worth having, and I think it ultimately will deliver best value for all of us.
Okay, so let me just ask the second part of the question. So aren't you afraid of the legal ban on private coins due to the high criminalization of this segment? And what actions can Zen team suggest to solve the problem and to ensure the safety of investors' funds?
So one of the things that needs to happen is everybody within the cryptocurrency industry needs to be much more open about conversation around regulation. Yep. So if we engage in conversation and we explain what this technology actually does and how similar it is to technology that's used by people day to day all over the world in lots of different apps, then I think we stand a much better chance of not seeing broad brush regulation. I think the worst possible thing that we can do is say nope and stand off and let the regulators do their thing without any input at all. I think if we do that, then for sure we're going to see blanket bans that make no sense, that don't help anybody. So for me, the number one most important thing is to be open, be honest, and to try and actually reach out and educate to stop that type of broad brush regulation happening. So hopefully that answers your question in some way.
Yeah, and to add to that, that's like a great point, Rowan, because we're also like at WhiteBIT, we believe that regulation in crypto is a thing that eventually cannot be avoided. Yeah, in one or other way, it is coming. Yeah, but the market is still young, and if major players are working together with the authorities and the regulators to find out what the best way of regulating is, then of course the regulation will be in place, but they will be much more accessible, or maybe not as strict as they could have been, yeah, or might be.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, in my personal life, I would kind of prefer not to have regulation, but we need to be pragmatic with this. We need to kind of agree that it's going to happen. It's just a question of time. So do we want regulation where we don't have a say in how it happens? Or do we want regulation where we can actually be part of the conversation and try and make it sensible, try and make it to the point where it doesn't stifle growth, it doesn't stifle technology? So super important conversation.
Yeah, we all can see what it can turn into with the G20 stable coins recommendation recommendations. So in the worst scenario, it's just gonna get banned. So
exactly.
Yeah. So it has been a pleasure during these 40 minutes, and it's time for us to go. I just want to remind everyone that we have a series of these AMA sessions. Just stay tuned for them. We always drop a little bit of rewards for your questions. So again, stay tuned for that. Thank you, Andrew. Thank you, Rowan. Thank you, everyone, for taking the time of your day and participating in here. So hope everyone enjoyed this AMA session. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, everyone. Take care.
Bye-bye. And stay safe.